Well, for the sake of accuracy, what he said is, according to Srila Guru Maharaj, he shed 100 gallons of blood to show what Madhura Rasa is not. So he wrote one book called the Prakrita Rasa Shatadushini. He points out 100 faults of Prakrita Sahajyaism, or what are calling imitationists, those who are imitating the position of devotees, imitating devotion. Rupa Goswami warns of this in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is the Rupa Nuga line. So if Rupa Goswami singles out something as a caution, we have to take it very seriously. So he warns, says two types of cautions are there. Those who are sentimental by nature, right? They cry over anything and everything. Saying, you may see that they're also crying about Krishna. Don't confuse that with divine symptoms. Right? They're just sentimental. That's all. It's just sentimentalism. Do not equate that with pure devotion. On the other side, he says, acting. Right? Part of acting is imitation. So someone can, as we know from observing actors and actresses, and I've mentioned for Russians, particularly Stanislavski, the creator of the so-called method, by imitating someone, that you can pose as though you are humble, you are moved, your heart feels a particular way, that you're feeling a particular emotion, and convince others to that effect. Rupa Goswami is warning against that. Why? If there are not people who are doing these very things, why should Sri Rupa, the very leader of this line, warn all of those in the line about this? So Srila Saraswati Thakur gives 100 cautions like this. And I made the observation, why 100 negatives? Kabena, bolena, kabuna. They will never say this, never do this, never not. No, it's why 100 no's, to make it abundantly clear what it is. It's another way, through indirect expression, to, we told, Science of Devotion by Rupa Goswami. So part of science is to show these things cannot be that particular thing. So then when it comes to identifying the substance, what it is, it's helpful.
Yes, so can we say that this is the meaning of the word war in the statement of, that he declared totalitarian war against all the misconceptions, and how to match this with his Vaikuntha vriti principle, that he sees value in service in everything, and how to find the...
Well, we have to understand what all these things are rather than jumble them indiscriminately. So his position must be consistent. So, and it must be consistent with Krishna's Kaviraj, Rupa Goswami, etc. Right? So on this point, what do we hear? The conclusion of Madhya Lila says, Krishna Lilamrita Sar Tar Shata Shatadar Dasti Ke Jaha Vaha Hoite. It's telling us what, it's drawing a comparison between Krishna Lila and Gaura Lila. And it's telling us that Krishna Lila is the highest, Lila Amrita Sar, right? The Amrita Sar, the creme de la creme of spiritual substance. But it is inaccessible, as we discussed. Kotishwapi Mahamune, Koti Mukta Durlabh Madhye Ek Krishna Bhakta. Mahaprabhu is teaching Rupa Goswami. And what is he telling him? This is infinite, but I'll take one drop and explain that. That's where he says, out of 10 million liberated souls, one may be a devotee of Krishna, who's qualified for that ultimate nectarine substance. So, what does that mean? That means it is inaccessible for the most part. If 1 out of 10 million liberated souls can, then what hope is there for ordinary people? Right? So this is why he's drawing a contrast at the conclusion of the Madhya Lila, saying, yes, Krishna Lila is like that. It's inaccessible, most exclusive. So many are excluded from that. As connotation increases, denotation decreases. Right? What's the good news? That Gaura Lila, right, is Krishna Lila in distribution mode. So here, Das DK means the 10 directions, means it's being mercifully extended beyond that exclusive group to those who are otherwise unqualified. Right? So, Srila Saraswati Thakur, his Vaikuntha vriti, here Vaikuntha means, in this sense, liberal, generous, in a mode of generosity. He's trying to bring others in connection with this substance. But what does it mean? More specifically, like we hear the concept sparsha money means touchstone, but touchstone in the sense of transformative. So he has the faith that if unqualified people will come in connection with this, they'll become qualified. Not that they'll remain unqualified, they'll become qualified. Sometimes when we speak of diksha, initiation, we hear in Hari Bhakti Vilas, what's a qualified guru, who's a qualified disciple, and how this transaction transpires. Right? But Guru Maharaj said, for the most part, what is being enacted is what is called tantric initiation. Now the word tantric conjures many notions in modern contexts. People only associate tantric with one thing, but here what it means in the context of this discussion is those who are unqualified are being given an opportunity to become qualified. So that means, let's just spell it out. Perhaps a qualified guru is giving an unqualified person a chance, thinking when they come in connection with this, they'll be transformed. And there should be some Bhagavatam principle that this is consistent with. So we hear, akama, sarvakama ba, mokshakama udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena, yajeta purusham param. Second canto of the Bhagavatam. Whether you're akama, free from desire, mokshakama, desiring liberation, sarvakama, full of desires, udaradi, uddar, like odarja means magnanimous. From a magnanimous position, they're saying, just direct yourself toward Krishna. Right? And coming in connection with Krishna, somewhere along the way, some transformation is going to take place. Right? As we find in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, his mundane desires were extraordinary, right? Of extraordinary magnitude. Right? He wanted a kingdom greater than that of his father, grandfather, etc. It means basically Brahma. He wants a kingdom greater than the universe. Not a kingdom within the universe, a kingdom greater than the universe. Right? And to achieve that end, it's taken sometimes that his mother is a Vartma Pradarshak Guru, Pata Pradarshak. She's indicating, go in this direction. The only person who can fulfill these kind of desires is God. Right? Where is this God? Well, sages look for him in the forest. Right? Aranya, Ban, so many sannyas names to deal with the forest, particularly Aranya, Ban. Right? So, but Dhruva Maharaj, so his initial approach, he is in the Sarvakama position. Right? He's approaching God to fulfill some desire. That's his initial approach. But the transformation takes place along the way as he realizes the Lord within his heart, following the directions of Narada. So he's come in contact with a proper agent. Now he's under the guidance of a Vaishnava guru. He's following his direction. Right? We may say, as Guru Maharaj says, to get out of the mud, you may have to walk through the mud for some time. That we concede. To get out of the mud, I mean, it's not always that Vishnu comes down on Garuda and, Gajapati, Kripa, Tarala, You may have to walk through the mud for a while, but with the intention of coming out of it. At any rate, Dhruva, he sees the Lord within his heart. He undergoes some transformation. His meditation breaks, much to his, sadness. But when he opens his eyes, he sees whom he was meditating upon within his heart is now standing before him. And what does he say? Swamin Kritartosmi Baram Najache. It's a famous sloka, where now, with some shame, you can say, he gives vent to this expression. I was searching for broken pieces of glass, for shard. That's what my wanting a kingdom greater than the universe is like, broken pieces of glass. And now I found the most valuable gem, diamond, beyond what I imagined. So some transformation took place along the way. And it is his guru, Narad, Rishi, Muni, Yena Tena Prakarena Mani Krishna Niveshayet, who is the advanced devotees, those of advanced spiritual vision, they will devise ways and means, maybe even novel ways and means, to bring people in connection with Krishna conception. So, what is the difference between that, the Vaikuntha vriti of Saraswati Thakur, and the Utpatayeva Kalpate, with the Rupa Goswamis condemning, saying neophytes, unqualified people, adulterating the substance of Krishna consciousness, introducing deviant practices. What is the difference between that? Who will make these determinations? So, Guru Maharaj, with his credentials, a Bhattacharya Brahmin, expresses his surprise and shock in response to what Saraswati Thakur is expressing and willing to employ to bring others in connection with Krishna consciousness. And Saraswati Thakur makes the point that this isn't a whimsical thought, something that just came to my mind recently. 10,000 years ago, I made this decision. And like a shock, it comes to Guru Maharaj. So sometimes Guru Maharaj will say, the goal is the most exclusive, the means may be all-inclusive. Right? Or in another context, he said, have a sign that says, welcome to the land of no admission. Like when we see a room, it says no admission, means no one can go in there. But you're being welcomed to the land of no admission. The land of no admission, in this case, Krishna consciousness. Mahaprabhu's Krishna conception, liberal distribution, Odarja Lila, as Guru Maharaj says also, It's a footnote. Gaur Gadadhar is Radha and Krishna in Acharya, that's their Acharya Lila, right? Distribution. At the same time, I pointed out the other day, Mahaprabhu is known as the Mahavaranaya Avatar, right? And Patita Bhavana Gaura Hari, etc. He can't tolerate Upasiddhanta. Right? Like Guru Maharaj said, what did he say? That opposition is more tolerable than imitation. Because opposition has a place to enhance the position of the bona fide. It's indirectly Lila nourishing. So that Saraswati Thakur, who is saying he can arrange through a youth hostel, have a youth hostel in London and arrange through a local restaurant non-vegetarian food, will not allow harmonium in a kirtan. Right? When the manager of the Gaudiya Math, when they did not have so much money, he once rented the equivalent of the Nath Mandir, or the Kirtan Hall, for some other type of religious performance. And when that came to be known by Saraswati Thakur, he expressed his disapproval. And he said, the manager told him, well, we've received the deposit. He said, give them their money back. And he said, and I want you to put up a sign on the wall that says, Sravana Sadan, which you see in the Chaitanya Saraswat Math to this day. Means, one way of rendering that is the house of hearing. And he's saying, you can only come here and hear our Guru Varga. You can't make another vibration. You can come to hear them directly or hear about them and their concepts from those who are qualified to represent them, but you can't come and do a kirtan, give a talk, make some other vibration. Right? So that person who's saying he's willing to do all these very broad things to bring people in connection with genuine spiritual substance, he doesn't allow harmonium in his kirtans. He's very strict about other things. Why? Because they have to be brought in connection with actual spiritual substance, not something else. And Guru Maharaj, ever one to give an appropriate example, he said, using the hall for some other purpose, he said, is like renting your wife. Generally, we don't rent the wife, right? That's the level he saw it on. What is meant for a specific purpose, exclusively for that, we're not in the name of, well, this will bring some money, or this will help the mission, or many things. Guru Maharaj does not allow like Julan Yatra in his mats, right? Those who are faithful to his conception. It means the swinging of Radha and Krishna deities. And he said, others may say, oh, it brings many people to the temple, and then they give donations, and then those donations helps spread Krishna consciousness. His response, Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundarim, Kavitamba, Jagadish. I'm not interested in money, followers, etc. I'm an aspiring servitor of Mahaprabhu. So there are many things to consider when it comes to this.